Hey all. So I'm a little early this month with my April TBR, but my TBR this month is going to be a little different than it was the last couple because I'm participating in the Bookish Drummers Battle of the Bands Readathon. So my entire TBR is based on the Readathon. So for both February and March, I've been really good at reading what was on my list. Having okay, these are my must reads, these are my maybe reads, and then see what's available. And my goal is to do that here. The problem with a readathon is it's a little less flexible. So sometimes, with my TBR, I might have a book that's on my maybe, and am able to get it from the library, or if I'm not feeling it, I can put it aside. I don't really have that option with a readathon because if I'm not feeling it, if I don't come back to feeling it pretty quick, I usually will try to swap something else in because I want to make sure I'm getting the points and I'm reading everything. And it's a little easier when it's my own TBR because if I don't get to it, even if it's a maybe, as long as I get through my musts, it's not that big of a deal. It's just my own goals. But there's no points and there's no team. So this might be, it may end up looking different at the end of April, based on library availability, based on, there may be books that I think I'm going to like, and then I just really don't get into them. And so I need to come up with something else. So hopefully that won't happen. I've put a lot of thought into it. So I'm hoping this will work for me, but I know there's a couple on here that are a little bit longer, and while April, I have a lot of time, you never know. So, all right, so I'm going to kind of go through the readathon prompts, and then I'll do the two, and then I'll talk about the two, so there'll be 5 per era, and then I'll talk about my books for that option, and then the next one, and then I have one book that's not part of the readathon. So I'll have 21 for the month of April. So hopefully I can do that. So this is Battle of the Bands One-Hit Wonders. I did the Battle of the Bands last summer, and it was really great. It really motivated me to read. I felt like I wrote a ton. My team won, so that was always nice. But I do find having some kind of challenges, having a little structure, keeps me reading. But that's why, I want to make sure that if I'm not feeling something, I move on to something else and, either a different prompt and I'll come back to it, or, I have other books to swap out if needed. So, the 70s, these are the prompts. So it's Play That Funky Music, a book with a funky, weird, or striking cover. 2 is Hooked on a Feeling, immediately binge the next book in a series. So this is going to be, you're going to notice there's some series prompts here, and I don't read a lot of series, so this ended up being a little bit of a challenge, so I hope I like the series I picked. 3, American Pie, a book by a popular American author. 4, Stuck in the Middle with You, the second book in a trilogy or the middle book in a series. 5, Blinded by the Light, a book with a character who is blinded by their ambition. And then the 80s, which is my team, we have Take on Me, a book you are scared to take on. Maniac, a book you can binge in one or two sittings. Never Gonna Give You Up. Rick roll, so he had to roll a die to determine the length of the next read, and it had to be at least 150 pages, so however many extra dots you rolled, you had to do that many 50 pages over, so I think I was 300 or something, but and that's not really too much of an issue because I think the max was 400, so could have found something in there. The Safety Dance, a book that's a safe bet, meaning you'll enjoy it. And then Don't You Forget About Me, a book you've wanted to read for a long time, but still haven't. So the books I picked for the 70s, for the weird cover, I still have the arc of Knock Knock Open Wide, and I've been wanting to get to this. So this will be a good chance because I think the cover is odd and striking. For the next book in the series, I have The Vanishing Stair, which is book 2 in the Truly Devious series. For the American author, I have Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is actually one of Sir Chonk's books that he assigned me, and that's fine because I want to read it anyway. The Hand in the Wall is the third book out of 5 in the Truly Devious series, so that will be that middle. And then Truly Devious is the first book. So I have all of these, and I just haven't gotten to reading them because I really like Maureen Johnson. So I haven't read any of them. I'm really hoping I like them. I figure this is the kind of series I should be able to breeze through. So, YA, murder, academia, all the kinds of things I like. So hopefully it is as good as I think it's going to be. And then for the 80s, the book I'm scared to take on, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It's not that I'm scared. This is on Sir Chunk's list for me, and I want to read this. Some people are like, oh, it's so boring, you'll hate it. But, I really love Victorian stuff, so he seems pretty confident I'll like it, and he knows what kinds of things I like. So I'll probably like it. The problem is it's just been sitting on my bookshelf for 2 decades because I'm so intimidated by it. So, it's this is a good chance to read it. This is a good time to kind of pick it up and just go, okay, that's it. I'm going to read this book. It's just a problem when it's a readathon because if it's a slow read, it's going to be tough. So we'll see. It might be the kind of thing that I can kind of pop in and out of. So we'll see. The next one for the book I can read really fast, I have the arc of the newest book by David Ellis, which is The Best Lies. I'm really excited to read that. I loved Look Closer so much, so hopefully this will be as good. And then for a book that just had to be at least 300 pages, I picked Bunny because that's on my personal 24 to read in 24. A book that's a safe bet, I picked The Vacancy in Room 10. I have the arc for that. I've read another book by Serafina Novaglass, and I enjoyed it. So I don't know if I'll love it, but I feel like, it's pretty much a thriller. I should like it. It should be at least something I can enjoy. And then for the book it's taken me forever to read, I was actually planning on trying to read The Chocolate War this year anyway, because part of the banned book challenge. So I'm going to do that and read The Chocolate War, because I've been saying since I was a kid I would read The Chocolate War. I actually grew up right near the town where Roderick Cormier is from, and he was a really popular author in our area, and obviously it was a big deal when his books were banned, but in our area they were still promoted all the time in the bookstores. But I just never, for some reason, everyone was reading Robert Cormier and I just never got around to it. I don't know, I think it's just because it was there. I went out of my way, not like I was deliberately not reading it, but it was just well, I'm not worried about it not having access to it, and then I moved and haven't read it still. So the next one is going to be the 90s. So You Can't Touch This, a book you don't own physically. So either you own the audiobook, you get it at a library, you have a ebook. Jump Around, a book with multiple points of view or multiple timelines. Cotton Eye Joe, a book with a redneck, western, or country vibe. Tub Thumping, a book with a redemption story or a persistent character. Closing Time, the final book in a series or the last book in an author's backlist. And then for 2000s, Who Let the Dogs Out, a popular book you don't understand the hype for. Smooth Criminal, a book featuring a heist or an assassin. Cupid Shuffle, a book you randomly generated from your TBR or want to read list. Bad Day, a book featuring a character having a bad day or a bad time of it. And Sandstorm, a book with a desert setting. So for a book I don't own physically, I picked Boy Parts because I think that's on my 24 and 24, and I have the ebook. Supposedly Beartown has multiple points of view, so that's been something I've been saying I was going to read forever, so that I'll probably try to read that. For the sort of Western vibe, I'm going to read Blood Meridian's been on my 24 for 24, so we'll see. I'm probably as nervous about as Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I don't think it's nearly as long. I think it's only 500 or 600 pages, but I don't know. I've only read The Road, and I really do not like The Road, even though everyone loves The Road. But I'm all right, I'm going to give him another chance, so hopefully I'll like it. And then for Redemption Arc, I have The Redemption of Morgan Bright. I have the arc of that, and obviously there's redemption in it. And then for last, I don't read a lot of series, so I'm using Survive the Night, which is the last book in Riley Sager's backlist that I haven't read. It's on my 24 to read for 24. He has another one coming this summer. And then I could also read Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney because I haven't read her. That's the only one I haven't read of hers either. So I think there's somebody else I haven't read. I've read most of their stuff, but maybe Catriona Ward. I think I only have one of hers left too. So, but I think I'm going to go with Survive the Night because that was on my 24 for 24 anyway. And then for a book I don't understand the hype, Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I know it's dark academia, but I don't really like fantasy, and I don't see how fantasy and dark academia are going to work. But then again, you know, maybe it's like dark Harry Potter. But I've heard that about The Magicians, and I like The Magicians in theory, but I didn't actually really like it very much. It's like, I got kind of like beat down by it. So I was just like, it was good, and I can see other people liking it. It's just not for me. So this has got a lot of hype, so we'll see if I end up liking it. I've picked 0 Days by Ruth Ware, which I've had since like last summer, and I just haven't read it yet, and that's got a heist in it. And then Runtime I randomly generated, and that's been on my TBR for a couple of years. I got that for Christmas a few years ago. I have The Arc of Dark Parts of the Universe, and it's about a group of kids in like a video game or something, and then someone gets murdered, so they're having a hard time of it, so I figured that was good for that. And then for a desert setting, I picked Holes because Holes is on my banned book list to read for the year because I haven't read it. So that's April, and I have one more book, which is going to be Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets because I'm doing the one a month readathon, so that'll just kind of squeeze in somewhere. But yeah, so that's that. That's my TBR for April, and we'll see if like something doesn't work. I may swap something in or out. I've been pretty consistently being able to read like 20 books a month, so that shouldn't be an issue, but I am on vacation this month, so who knows. It could be a time where I just read even more, or it could be a time where I read nothing and just like watch TV or something. So we'll see. And then I will be back with my March update and everything in my March wrap up, but I have like about a week left of March, and I have 2 books to read. Shouldn't take me that long to read the 2 of them. I'm like 10-15% of the way through both. I don't know if I'll fit anything else in, so we'll see. I might just start Harry Potter because it's not for the, like, it's not counting for the readathon, so if I read it a few days early, it won't be the end of the world. But we shall see. All right, that's that. See you around. Bye.